Hello everyone, I'm Gemma Beall, and welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. I just got through hearing Endell's new script, and there were some points in it that I wanted to put my 2 cents in on, since I'm still contemplating the truth is a moving target concept that I shared the other day, and I've had more insights I would like to share. Endell is not incorrect in his assessment that this whole enlightenment journey is a psychological process, and one will not find any true enlightenment without doing the hard psychological work in your own mind on your journey. There is a lot of information that we don't share with the rest of you and the rest of the world. Not because we're information hoarding, but because it can't be put into words. I've said many times in my work that this stuff has to be felt and known. It is not about intellectualizing within the mind. This includes having to try to find the words to share this wisdom. For me, the best way I can describe this is that what we are showing others is our own processes that we've gone through and continue to do within our minds for us to tap into what is innate to our being. If you do not know what innate means, it is defined as inborn or natural. Our Soika is the natural part of our being that we are shut off from through our indoctrination and the overlaying of the false ego consciousness program. And our paths mean that we must do the psychological deprogramming on ourselves, because the first cog use of psychology is only designed to keep us slaves to that system. You all know I love to give definitions to words, so I don't want to disappoint you here. Enlightenment is defined as having or attaining spiritual knowledge. Knowledge is defined as facts, information, and skills acquired through experience or education. With these definitions in hand, how much of what you know is actual spiritual knowledge? I ask you to contemplate this question very seriously, as this is a new bone for me to chew on as well. But here's what comes to mind as I formulated the question while I'm writing the script. I will use my own journey as an example. In reviewing my life, pre-path, and the history of my path, psychology was something I discovered from my studies that I've always used, at least the valid, non-tyrannical parts of psychology. This was not things that I had picked up from others, as I can see my application of it within my own mind, even when I was a kid. Is my proclivity for psychology innate? I feel that it is, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing within my own mind and in sharing my insights about it with others. The history of the first cog world that we all know and are indoctrinated into is not innate. It is contrived. So even our work in sharing information about it only ties into our journey of discovering what is innate to the Soika. The first cognition world certainly provides knowledge, but not innate wisdom. The history is necessary to understand because you have to know where, when, why, and how things got the way they are, and how we all got indoctrinated and bound in order to unbind ourselves from this programming. When I was drawn to Reiki, I was not drawn to it as a teaching. I was drawn to energy because energy is innate to our Soika. At that time, I didn't have enough access to what was innate to my Soika, nor enough trust in myself to not look for external authorities to teach me, and Reiki was the only thing I felt would teach me about working with energy. It didn't. I learned about energy from my crew friends and tapped into the innate remembrance of energy as I began accessing more and more of my innate Soika wisdom, and having done so is how I learned Reiki is bullshit. The same can be said about all the other New Age modalities I glommed onto, but later discarded because my own innate wisdom showed me by feel and by knowing it was false. All these so-called spiritual teachers have tried to define through knowledge and intellect the wisdom they have never possessed. Only the true wisdom teachers have been able to express it, but knowledge can't comprehend wisdom. Knowledge tries to define wisdom, and in modern spirituality, theosophy creates all the definitions where spiritual matters are concerned and controls all the spiritual dialogue. They may be able to define their presumed mystical knowledge, but they can't teach wisdom because they don't possess it. Even their ideas about mysticism are not based on any real knowledge, but are merely conjecture based on their own beliefs that this should be true, and there is absolutely no wisdom provided in their alleged spiritual modalities, even though they claim to sell, quote-unquote, ancient wisdom. You, however, do possess this inner knowing and wisdom, and it is innate in you. Everything we are sharing, if you follow the guidelines and do the hard internal work, will guide you to tap into this innate Soika consciousness, and you will understand and realize your own innate wisdom. How you get yours might not be how we got ours. We share our tools for those that might benefit from the knowledge and experience, but as I've said before, we are sharing to help and inspire others. If the tools we share don't work for you, then by golly, get creative and devise your own Soika tools to find your own innate wisdom. In my Truth is a Moving Target video, I talked about rather than things being truth, they are what just is. I just had the realization what just is our innate Soika wisdom. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen and to consider this information. I'm Gemma Beall. Stay the course and don't give up on yourself.